Considering a move to Austin, Texas with 2023 right around the corner? Well, in this video, we're talking about the 5 reasons why you might not want to do that. And hopefully by the end of the video, we'll have helped you arrive at your own conclusion. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Frank with the Living in Austin group at eXp Realty. On this channel, we put out new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and the bad, so consider subscribing if you haven't already, and ring that little bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video. We also love the reach outs we get now all the time from people just like you in need of our help when relocating to the greater Austin area. So keep them coming, don't hesitate, whether you're 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. So yes, in this video, we are talking about the 5 reasons not to move to Austin, Texas in 2023. And honestly, let's just get right to it. Let's waste no time and start with perhaps the most obvious of the reasons, which would be interest rates. And this is something most of us know about, most of us hate, most of us dread, and I can't blame you. With the way the economy is going right now, with the way the country is going right now, and the way it affects the real estate market, interest rates have shot up and they are sky high. So I can't really blame people for maybe shying away from the idea of relocating if you're looking to buy a house. Now, on the plus side to that, because of the interest rates, home prices have dropped. Homes are sitting on the market now. Buyers have way more power than they did even just 6, 9, 12 months ago. And a lot of people, our clients included, will choose to buy now and then refinance as the interest rates will eventually go down. All in all, the interest rates are scary. And as mentioned, I cannot blame anybody for shying away and perhaps not really feeling ready, or perhaps just wanting to take it into account more when they're making such a big decision to relocate. As mentioned though, if you are needing to relocate, rest assured home prices are lower. Buyers have so much more power. It is a much easier market to navigate than it was. So for whatever that's worth, maybe some peace of mind if it's something that you absolutely have to do. But otherwise, that might be a reason you don't want to move here. Moving on to reason number 2 of why not to move to Austin, Texas in 2023 is a subject that I call New Austin. And if you are a longtime subscriber on the channel, pardon me for talking about this 1,001 times now, but on the off chance that you're new to the channel, you don't want to be blindsided, you want to know what to expect. And so if I'm helping one person, good. Austin is very different now. It is not the Austin it was obviously in its heyday when it was just a small, cool college town that was pretty unique and was very different from San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. Austin obviously is still different than it was even 20 years ago, right? But what people don't get is that Austin now in 2022 heading into 2023 is so much more different than it even was like 5 or 6 years ago. It has rapidly evolved. Some might say devolved. It's up for debate. I suppose that boils down to opinion. But Austin is different, which is why I call it New Austin. So what that looks like is an abundance of people relocating here. Austin recently has been among the top relocation hotspots in the entire country. So what that looks like is an influx of people that are not from here. And that's very cool because we're all about inclusion and diversity and all that stuff. But what you're seeing is an authentic Texan culture quickly dwindling, quickly going away. Austin is now kind of a transplant culture. It is kind of what you find in Los Angeles or New York. Not to that extreme, but certainly a place where most people you meet are not from here. And statistically speaking, most are going to be from California. So that is something. In addition to that, you have all the tech companies moving here. And it's nothing new to Austin because Austin has always kind of had a tech scene going. But recently, I mean, my goodness, all these companies from Silicon Valley and the Bay Area basically flocking here, creating or further developing what's called Silicon Hills in Austin, Texas, has also shifted the way Austin feels. So while it used to be very authentic, cool, laid back, it has those vibes still, don't get me wrong, but now it feels more corporate. Now it feels more commercial, it's busier, it's still pretty small, so it's filling up fast. And along with that, you see prices rising and crime statistics fluctuating. So that's what I mean. You know, if you're coming to Austin and you're expecting it to be the place that you might have heard about 2, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it's not looking like that anymore. And that's the thing. It might be right for you. It might be a beautiful fit. People move here and are very happy here. But I would highly encourage you to at least maybe come take a trip, see how you feel, If you want to meet with the team, we'll take you on a tour, that kind of thing, maybe see if it's right for you, and is absolutely a reason why you might not want to move here in 2023. Up next, regarding why you might not want to move to Austin, Texas, is the subject of rental prices. And I'll keep this brief. While our team does primarily help buyers, don't get me wrong, we do get a lot of reach outs from people in need of a rental. And a lot of these people, for good reason, are going to be buyers. But when they're coming to a brand new place, and we primarily help people move from out of state, it makes sense to want to rent first. A lot of our clients will just straight up buy, but I totally understand why people might want to feel it out with a rental. So on that note, with how expensive Austin, Texas is becoming, like very fast, rental prices are through the roof, to the point where, yes, it's always made more sense financially to own a house than to rent a house, because you're just spitting out money versus having it appreciate and things like that, stuff we all know. But even more so now, if you put that fact aside, you are paying more to rent because the home prices are getting lower, and so many people who are coming here are wanting to rent by nature of it being a relocation hotspot. In addition to that, a lot of people will rent and go under contract perhaps with a new build construction home that might take 3, 6, 9 months to be finished and completed and ready to move in. And in that amount of time, they might lock in the asking price of the home. But then between when you lock in the contract and when you close and you go into financing, interest rates might still fluctuate. So you add on top of paying a lot of money to rent and kind of burning your money for that, on top of perhaps the house and the interest rate being more than you thought it would be by the time you're ready to move in, that can also be not a recipe for disaster, but that can be something that a lot of people don't account for. So while I don't blame people for the desire to rent, I absolutely understand, it is now becoming even less easy and less logical, if that makes sense, because it always has been the logical idea, the logical move, but now numerically, mathematically, it's just making absolute no sense. So if you are in need of a move to Austin, Texas, and you don't want to buy, not trying to dissuade you, but I would be a little bit weary of the increasing prices of rental houses for that matter. So again, something to keep in mind if you're weighing the decision, and ultimately do what's best for you. Keeping it moving and naturally segueing from the subject of rental prices, let's now talk about the larger umbrella overall subject of affordability and property taxes, though I might say lack of affordability. And so Austin, Texas, with its demand and its hype and its popularity, if you will, has skyrocketed in price. And so as it currently stands, and will, in my opinion, forever be this way, Austin, Texas is above and beyond the most expensive city to live in the entire gigantic state of Texas. It is more expensive than San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas, your other main cities within the state of Texas. And that just keeps on rising. I mean, the median home price within at least Austin proper, the city limits specifically, is well above $600,000. And now your popular suburbs, if you will, that used to be maybe in the mid threes or the mid fours, are now between $500,000 and $600,000 as that median home price. Median is key because, don't get me wrong, you will find homes cheaper than that in these well sought after and desired suburbs. But yes, if we're talking about Leander, Texas, Cedar Park, Texas, Round Rock, Texas, Georgetown, Texas, places that have reputation, places that have exquisite school districts, places that a majority of our clients move to, mostly because of the schools, they're coming with their families. These places are, no longer super affordable. I mean, are they going to be kind of these more wealthy areas, say like Dripping Springs, where you have medians of $700,000 or $800,000? No, but could that day come in the next few years? Absolutely it could, because just a few years ago it was in the threes and fours. And I realize that appreciation is a thing that's going to happen everywhere, and that is not unique to Austin, Texas. But what is unique is the pace at which these other surrounding suburbs are becoming less affordable. Now, don't get me wrong, if we're talking about places that are a bit under the radar, that are less popular and sought after, less prestigious, talking about the Huttos, maybe the Mainers, the Butas, the Kyles, places like that are still going to be 300s, 400s. They're not quite around $500,000 yet, but as people begin to flock there, as Austin fills up, and perhaps they're going to work for Tesla near Bastrop, or they're going to work for Samsung near Taylor, those places are surely going to get more expensive. The side note of this subject in this video is property taxes. And this is, again, something I've talked about 1,000,000,000,000 times on this channel. But again, if I can reach one person who perhaps wasn't taking that into account, good. Property taxes in the state of Texas, not just Austin, are going to be more, perhaps, than you are used to. Oftentimes we hear numbers like 0.5%, 1%, 1.5% property tax rates. Well, you're moving to Austin, Texas, you're moving to Dallas, Texas, your property tax rates are going to be easily 2%, usually 2.5%, and very often 2.75, 2.85. And if you want a house in a brand new area, brand new schools, brand new grocery store, that can look like above 3%. Why is this still relevant to talk about if I've talked about it 1,000,000,000 times? Because Austin is getting more expensive. And so if you have your property tax rate of 3% and a house that used to be $450,000 is now $600,000, that can absolutely look like a second mortgage. And a lot of people do account for this, but a lot of people don't. It's funny, in my experience doing this in this business, people will get their ducks in a row and they will kind of map out their finances and they'll plan everything for the move. But what they don't think about or account for are those property taxes, and then it bites them. And all of a sudden they're paying so much more than they thought they would have to. And it's just a sticky situation that you don't want to get yourself into. So I don't say this to discourage you or dissuade you or to disenchant you. I say it so that you are aware and that you know what to expect. And so absolutely, that is a very legitimate reason to not move to Austin, Texas in 2023 as the prices go up, the property taxes stay what they are. Yeah, just take that into account. Now, real quickly, before we move on, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If we've been providing any value for you, consider clicking the like button as it helps our channel grow. Remember to subscribe, and lastly, share our content with anybody you know who's wanting to learn more about living in Austin, Texas. Up next, at long last, reason number 5 why not to move to Austin, Texas is actually like 5 more reasons that I'm grouping into one, so we'll call it miscellaneous. Reason being, these are just little quick hitters that I don't really need to discuss or explain very much. Once you hear them, it's just like, oh yeah. So let's start with the subject of traffic. What is there to say about traffic aside from it sucks? Well, Austin's sucks, and it's getting worse because so many people are coming here all the time, even still, despite the interest rates. And Austin, being a small college town, first and foremost, years ago, is not equipped to handle so many people. So unlike Dallas or Houston or San Antonio, rather, that have the infrastructure, Austin is always trying to catch up to its popularity and its population. And so what that means is construction to fix the traffic problem, but the construction feeds the traffic problem, which then makes them want to do more construction. And if you know anything about construction, it never ends. So they could still be doing construction in like 2045 to fix the problem, still feeding the problem. So yeah, traffic is bad. Rush hour starts now at 2 or 3, used to start at 5 or 6. Moving on to the subject of crime. Crime is fluctuating everywhere, of course. That is natural. That is a thing in the world. However, in Austin, Texas specifically, crime is fluctuating quite rapidly. It is going up much more quickly than it used to. Aggravated assaults are up, burglaries are up, murders are up. There's shootings on 6th Street. Didn't used to be, now there are. So crime is a thing that is talked about here, as well as homelessness, as well as panhandlers. You're starting to see tents and people like that in places you didn't used to. It's starting to spread outside of just the city limits. You've also got the subject of heat. What's there to say about heat? Aside from that, it sucks. It's really bad here in the South. If you're coming from California, Washington, Canada, New York, a lot of the places we've helped clients come from, yeah, you might know numerically that it's going to be in the triple digits for like 3 straight months, maybe 4 straight months. What you don't know is how that's going to feel exactly, because triple digits in Los Angeles, California is very different from triple digits in Austin, Texas. It feels muggy. There is more humidity here. While it isn't Hawaii or Houston humid, it's still much more dense than the crisp, dry air, say, of Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah, it's like opening an oven when you're baking cookies and the air just smacks you on the face. It is the leather in your car burning your legs when you sit down. All of that stuff. Higher bills for air conditioning and water and showers and watering your plants so they don't die. Bugs. This is something I have dealt with recently. On my balcony, mosquitoes. There's these fly things on the ceiling as well that I don't know what they're called because I'm not a bug expert. They covered my balcony, covered it. Like, I tried all the sprays, I got out the leaf blower, and the leaf blower actually ended up being the best solution, but they would just come back, and nothing could be done until it started cooling off. So that's another thing. You've also got hornets, wasps, bees. I mean, there are plenty of insects and bugs in the South, in Austin, Texas. Crickets as well, spiders. I am cleaning spider webs all the time, especially if you live close to water. For whatever reason, that's a thing, I guess. Spiders will just replenish all the time. And lastly, on the subject of miscellaneous quick hitters, weed. And I'm not just talking to people who like to get high for fun. I'm talking to people who rely on cannabis for their day-to-day lives and their overall wellness. So if you're dealing with an illness, if you're dealing with depression, if you're using it for anxiety, whatever your reason is, if you're coming from a place where weed is easily accessible, that is not the case in Texas. Texas is still a very red state, which means it will be one of the last to fully legalize cannabis. Don't get me wrong, you do have your Delta 8 stores, you have your CBD dog treats. That stuff is pretty normal here. But in terms of like the real stuff that you can find in a lot of other states, that is not the case here. So keep that in mind as well. If you're coming here and you depend on it to some extent to improve your quality of life, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is certainly going to be harder to get. You have to jump through more hoops, things of that nature. So peace of mind, more to keep in mind. So there you have it. 5 reasons not to move to Austin, Texas with 2023 right around the corner. Honestly, more like 10 reasons, but we'll just call it 5. And hopefully we've done a good enough job of helping you arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not Austin, Texas is right for you. And if it is, again, that is what we are here for and what we love to do, helping people just like you relocate to the greater Austin area, making that move as smooth as possible, finding that perfect spot and getting those offers accepted. But again, the only way we can do that is by you reaching out to us. So again, don't hesitate, whether you're 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. And again, on this channel, we put out new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and the bad. So consider subscribing if you haven't already and ring that little bell to get notified whenever we put out a new video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Click the like button if we've been providing any value for you. Share it with anybody you know. And until the next one, you guys, my name is Frank. This is Living in Austin, Texas, and we will absolutely catch you later.